The Hawaiian Islands and the islands of French Polynesia, including Tahiti, are dream destinations for island hopping beach lovers searching for their own Pacific paradise. With so many similarities, knowing one is almost like knowing the other. French Polynesia in the South Pacific is the same distance south of the equator as Hawaii is north of the equator in the North Pacific. Separated by 2,500 miles, they share a common ancestral heritage, speak Polynesian languages, and are in the same time zone. But there are a lot of differences too. In Hawaii, there are 1.4 million people, while just 285,000 call French Polynesia home. Hawaii's capital, Honolulu, on the island of Oahu, is a modern, skyscraper-filled city of more than 1 million. French Polynesia's capital, on Tahiti, is a port-centered city of 125,000. Both Hawaii and French Polynesia offer spectacular scenery, amazing beaches, lush mountain ranges, and glorious sunsets that often look otherworldly. But the islands of French Polynesia have something special: reef walls that partially or completely surround them, creating lagoons filled with crystal clear, calm waters, perfect for all kinds of activities, including encounters with stingrays and black-tipped sharks. In Hawaii, you can find almost anything you need, including a wide range of accommodations, from beautifully historic hotels along Waikiki Beach to vacation rentals and high-rise hotels with expansive views of the beach, Diamond Head, and the Pacific. Meanwhile, in French Polynesia, especially on the islands of Moorea and Bora Bora, over-the-water bungalows are the sought-after stays. These luxury hotel accommodations are only possible because of the protection, reef walls, and the lagoons they form offer structures like these, built in the water. A reef wall is one of the first sights you'll see as you land on Tahiti. These reef walls often create surf breaks that are popular surfing spots, like the ones on Tahiti and Moorea. On Tahiti, the smaller part of the island of Tahiti, near the village of Tehupo, is Chopu or Chopes, a heavy, glassy, offshore surf break that's been called one of the world's deadliest waves. Ocean swells, at their height from April to October, race across the Pacific with nothing to stop them but Tahiti's reef wall. This is also the site of the Billabong Pro Tahiti Surf Competition, and in 2024, it was the Olympic surfing venue for the Paris Games. Back on Oahu, just northeast of the North Shore town of Haleiwa, is the 7 Mile Miracle, called the most concentrated stretch of world-class surf breaks on the planet. Starting at Haleiwa Beach Park and all the way to Sunset Beach, this is heaven on earth for surfers. In French Polynesia, you have to paddle out or take a boat offshore to reef walls to watch the best surfers. But on Oahu's North Shore, like at world-famous Waimea Bay, you never have to leave the beach to see the pros. In winter months, thanks to massive, storm-generated waves, Waimea Bay hosts the world's top surfing competitions. With its big rocks, crashing waves, a spectacular beach, beautiful sunsets, and a master class in surfing, it's my favorite place in all of Hawaii. And if you're lucky, when you visit, it'll be lifeguard training day, a chance to see how the ocean is tamed. Just east of Waimea Bay are other famous surfing spots, including the Banzai Pipeline. In the 1800s, Waikiki Beach was a retreat for Hawaiian royalty who surfed on early longboards, surfboards between 9 and 12 feet long. And still today, its calm waters make it an ideal place to learn to surf. In Hawaii, inexpensive, frequent flights link the 4 islands most tourists visit: Hawaii Island, also known as the Big Island, Maui, Oahu, and Kauai. Most people arrive at H&L, Honolulu's airport. Each of the 4 Hawaiian islands have airports, and the Big Island has 2, one in Kona and one in Hilo. In French Polynesia, international flights arrive at PPT, Tahiti's airport. From there, you can catch flights to some of the 121 islands and atolls spread across 1,200 miles of South Pacific Ocean that make up French Polynesia. You can even take a 15-minute, 10-mile flight to neighboring Moorea, or you can board a ferry at the port for a 30 to 60-minute ride to that spectacular, adventure-filled island. That's what I did with my rental car, and the short journey couldn't have been easier. But getting the car at the airport took longer than it should have. Rental agencies aren't staffed to quickly handle a plane load of car-seeking tourists. On Tahiti and Moorea, you'll need a car or a scooter if you plan on exploring on your own. Make sure to reserve your car early, especially if you want one with an automatic transmission. In Honolulu and the other Hawaiian airports, picking up cars takes no time. You can get by without one if you're spending most of your time in Honolulu, but if you're exploring any of the islands, a car is needed. In Hawaii, most any form of payment will do: credit or debit cards or cash. In French Polynesia, before leaving the airport on Tahiti, grab some French Pacific francs from the ATM near the rental car counters. It's good to have cash for food trucks and small restaurants that take nothing else. Most larger places, restaurants and supermarkets, take cards. And while ATMs are fairly easy to find on Tahiti, they're not on the other islands. So, get it while you can. There's a seemingly endless array of activities in both Hawaii and French Polynesia. Most cost nothing, but there are lots of paid excursions too. In Hawaii, you can parasail, water ski, zip line, whale watch, take any number of cruises from the Nepali coast on Kauai to booze cruises off Oahu, as well as helicopter tours of all the islands, including volcanic tours of the Big Island, and even flights over Molokai from nearby Maui. In French Polynesia, there are tour boats and inter-island tours of Tahiti. Neighboring Moorea is jam-packed, full of things to do, including high-speed jet ski tours of the Lagoon that venture out beyond the reef wall, as well as popular boat tours to a spot in the lagoon frequented by stingrays and black-tipped sharks. The sharks pass you by, but the stingrays are looking for lunch from guides there to supervise your visit to this special place. This is a must-do for anyone visiting Moorea. The excursion included lunch for the rest of us on a nearby islet. I rarely book adventures like these in advance in Hawaii, but to be sure I didn't miss out, I did on Moorea. In Hawaii, on each island, I always stay in Airbnbs. On Kauai, it's the Aston Islander on the beach in Kapa'a. It has spectacular Coconut Coast sunrises, and it's right next to the delicious Lava Lava Beach Club. On Maui and the Big Island, I've stayed in lots of rentals. Favorites include a pool house south of Hilo that offers short jungle hikes to a secluded part of the Big Island that few tourists find, and south-facing units on Maui with beautiful ocean views. My go-to spot in Honolulu is the Waikiki Grand Hotel. It has rental units that overlook the zoo with great views of Diamond Head. In French Polynesia, instead of splurging on an expensive $1,000 a night over-the-water bungalow, I opted for 4 creatively designed Airbnbs scattered across 2 islands, 3 on Moorea and 1 on Tahiti. On Tahiti, I stayed in an inexpensive, freestanding structure that gave me that over-the-water bungalow feel for so much less. With underdeck lighting, spectacular sunsets, and tour boats next door, it was a perfect introduction to Tahiti life. And like the other 3 rentals on neighboring Moorea, it came with mosquitoes, but not air conditioning. In Hawaii, AC is fairly standard. The 3 Airbnbs on Moorea included the treehouse of my childhood dreams. It has windows that pop out, Netflix that doesn't fail, and a constant breeze blowing in from the coral-laden beach just on the other side of my own picket-fenced sitting area. This is the only part of Moorea that doesn't have a reef wall. As a result, the roar from the Pacific is non-stop here, and for me, that's a good thing. My final Airbnb on Moorea was on the island's west coast. It's part of a compound of beach bungalows. I came for the otherworldly sunsets, and this place didn't disappoint. The sunsets here were the draw. The stack of kayaks I could use was the bonus. My first morning, I paddled out 500 yards to watch surfers at the reef wall. The only real drawback for me in French Polynesia was finding food when I wanted it, outside of restaurants and the extremely popular McDonald's in the capital. Snack bars, or snacks as they're called, served good food at low prices. Run by families, they were rarely open when I needed them. Lunchtime is your best bet most days. Supermarkets are available on both islands, but are limited in their offerings. That extremely expensive jar of peanut butter you pass up will look pretty good later in the day. The one thing you'll never have trouble finding is French bread. It's everywhere. It's not hard to find a drink, either. On Moorea, there's a food truck called Moorea's Churros. The churros are good, and so too are the paninis. They're big, on French bread, and easy to keep with you. Bottom line, if you see something you like, eat there, and get something to go. There are lots of places that sell pizza, but chances are they won't taste like home. I assume if you're staying in a resort, there isn't the same scramble for food. The best place I ate was at Cocoa Beach, an outdoor eatery on an islet in Moorea's Lagoon. Take my advice, make several reservations there. You'll be picked up by boat and have time to enjoy the water there before you return to shore. The food is good, and the atmosphere is spectacular. I ate there twice, but wish I had eaten there every day. It's much easier to find food on all the Hawaiian Islands, and in Honolulu, you can find almost any kind of food you want, and it's guaranteed to be as varied and colorful as your surroundings. I get to Hawaii often. French Polynesia seemed too much like Hawaii for me to dole out big money and endure an even longer flight. But Delta Airlines' new route to Tahiti from LA and the Sky Miles sale used to promote it was all the motivation I needed. I spent 9 days on Tahiti and Moorea. The romantic nature of an all-inclusive Bora Bora resort, coupled with the time and expense to get there, didn't appeal to me on this first trip. But Bora Bora is a good reason to return. If you have the opportunity to go to both Hawaii and French Polynesia, do it. It's fascinating to see how these two cultures, with a common heritage, developed so far apart. Hawaii, especially Oahu, is a thriving tourist capital that offers countless ways to enjoy the spectacular scenery that make these islands the dreamed-of destination. While in French Polynesia, the tropical beauty is enhanced by reef walls that tame the ocean, allowing for all sorts of activities in the calm waters of the protective lagoons. If this guide is helpful, like it and subscribe to my channel, Newsocracy. for more, including guides on each of the Hawaiian Islands and the islands of Moorea and Tahiti. As always, I'm Jim Albritton. Thanks for watching.